Hello there and welcome. This is Mikhail or Michael speaking, and as always before the video starts, I want to say thank you all who decided to support me financially, be it through Patreon, PayPal or Super Thanks. I really appreciate your help, so thank you friends and have a blessed day. Now today's video I will start with the Bakhmut city and discuss the situation on its northern flank. The battle for initiative on this particular portion of the front continues, as Russians continuously attack along the E40 highway in the direction of Orekhova-Vasilivka, which is currently controlled by the Ukrainians, from Dubovo-Vasilivka in the direction of Bogdanivka, from Birhivka along this reservoir, and from the village of Yagodne. Although Ukrainians counterattack Russians in this sector with all of their abilities, it doesn't seem like they are able to take control of the situation and regain initiative on the northern flank of the city. In fact, in the last 24 hours, Russians were able to advance south of Berhivka reservoir and capture this much territory from the Ukrainian side. Few days ago, Russians had captured this forest along the reservoir, and in my last video I speculated that with it, Russians will surely attack Ukrainian forces on these open fields and along these forest lines, as the Ukrainian positions located along them would be exposed from both front and flank. Seems like this is exactly what happened, and you can see the result of that on your screens. Like I said before in this video, Russians have full control over this entire area. It would seem that they hold full initiative and are constantly attacking Ukrainians and gaining territory as a result of that. However, I can't say the same about the southern flank of Bakhmut. Here, Ukrainians continue to attack Russian positions all across the front, within this forest, across the rail line in multiple directions, and near and around Andriivka. Currently, it would seem that Russians are able to repel those attacks, but with their intensity and Ukrainian persistence, territorial change in favor of Ukrainians becomes more logical. Obviously, in an attempt to negate those Ukrainian advances, Russians continue to counterattack, and this is one of the reasons why Ukrainians are unable to gain land on this portion of the front in the last few days. Then from here let's move to the Avdiivka city and discuss the situation here. Generally speaking, Russians continue to expand their zone of control around village of Krasnogorovka. Here they attack in the general direction of Novokalinova and Stepova, and in a few days we're able to advance here in this area and capture a portion of a rail line adjacent to the village of Stepova itself. With it, I'm sure Russians will be able to launch direct attack in attempt to fully capture this village soon enough. There were also recorded Russian attacks in the direction of Avdiivka coke plant in attempt to expand their zone of control around this important tactical height. Russian position within nearly established bridgehead to the other side of this rail line is being constantly attacked by Ukrainians in attempt to push Russians away and relieve pressure from the Ukrainian-controlled village of Novokalinova. However, despite all Ukrainian attempts, Russians continue to hold on to this important sector where several trenches and a stronghold is located. I want to show you a quick video of a Leopard tank that was recently damaged by either Russian tank or ATGM crew. The clip of it is in my previous video. However, here Russians are trying to destroy it with Lancet drone so that Ukrainians won't be able to retrieve it, repair it, and use it yet again. As to how much damage exactly was done by this Lancet drone is unclear, but I'm sure these kind of strikes will continue until the tank will become fully unoperational. Then from here let's visit Vremivka tactical bridgehead, or technically speaking it is not a bridgehead anymore. We can also call it Velika Novosilka sector. Now, the right flank of the bridgehead is generally quiet, which is not the case for its left flank. Here, Russians are extremely active and are attacking around Priyutne, mostly in the direction of Rivnopol village, and also attack here to the west of Staromayorsky, supporting Russian counterattacks from the settlement of Zavetna Bazhanya. Here, Ukrainians are engaged in active defense, as they are constantly counterattacking Russians in attempt to stop and negate their territorial gains in this area. However, about a day ago, Russians were able to advance here in this area and capture this much territory from the Ukrainian side. As you can see, the Russians were not only able to gain full control over this dried up lake, but also cross over it and establish a bridgehead. This creates tension for the Ukrainian forces located in Staromayorsk, as Russians are slowly but surely advancing to their flank and rear. If Russian attacks continue to be as successful as the previous ones, they can surely endanger the entire army groupings in this area and maybe even force them to retreat. Then from here, let's quickly visit Zaporozhye sector and discuss the situation around Rabotino-Verbove villages. In the last 24 hours, Ukrainians continued attacking in the direction of Verbova and Novoprokopivka, as well as in the general direction of village of Kampani. Not only did the Russians had repelled these attacks, but also counterattacked themselves. And in fact, there is a video of that. The initial source suggests that the first BTR was supposed to clear the trenches of Ukrainian infantry, while others, which you will see in the end of the video, are waiting and providing covering fire in case if Ukrainians will send reinforcements to this sector. The Russian strategy is such that the first BTR without infantry does the job, then the second one rolls up, loads out its infantry, and they conduct the clearing operation. Unfortunately, I have footage of the first step of this attack, and it is unclear how successful Russians were in that endeavor. But this piece of information serves as an important evidence that Russians are not on the back foot in this area and are very active fighting for the initiative with the Ukrainian forces. While these kind of operations are being conducted by both sides, Russian artillery continues to basically carpet bomb this entire Ukrainian-controlled salient. It doesn't seem like Russians are lacking ammunition and artillery shells and are surely putting them to work. From here, let's move to Zaporozhye and discuss the situation here. For example, first let's talk about the settlement of Krynki. As you can see, slowly but surely, Ukrainians are gaining more and more control of this settlement. And although Russians are constantly counterattacking in attempt to regain control over this area and force Ukrainians out, it doesn't seem like the strategy is working. Due to the constant Russian counterattacks, Ukrainian gains in this area are significantly slowed, and they are being under constant artillery bombardments and aviation strikes. However, as long as Ukrainians control this small foothold, they will continue to cause significant problems for the Russian forces in this area. In fact, recently Ukrainians launched yet another amphibious assault, which happened here to the west of the settlement of Pitstepne. As a result of that, they were able to take control over this small area, and here on this picture you can see exactly how much. If we zoom in, we can see that this looks like a sonar panel station, which doesn't provide that much defensive capabilities for the defensive side, and the potential of this Ukrainian landing is still quite questionable. Perhaps this attack is a diversion, so Russians would relocate some of their troops, for example, from the settlement of Kazachie Lagiri, where Ukrainians at some point were already able to establish small foothold, or perhaps so that Ukrainians can land somewhere else. Of course, Russians are doing everything in their power to decrease effectiveness of Ukrainian forces conducting massive artillery strikes and aviation strikes within the settlements and cities that Ukrainians use as logistical hubs. But overall, Russians are still unable to deal with Ukrainian landings here in this area. I guess only time will tell what will come off of this. In any way, this is the end of the video. Hopefully it was to your liking and was informative enough. If it was, please consider supporting it with a like, comment, and of course, a subscription. Not only do these actions help promote this video to a wider audience, thus helps spread the message, but also motivates me to work harder. Thank you in advance. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day and always remember, Russia will be free and great.